Hey folks, JD here, and finally, after 3 months of waiting, we have the SJRC F11. Before we look at the quad, just look how fantastic this box looks. What great presentation. That really nice petrol effect. I love that. Really, really good. Okay, that's enough of that box. Let's get inside it. And as soon as you open it up, this is what greets you. Look at this. Beautiful. Here's the F11. Here's the transmitter. Now there are many different options for this particular quad. I have decided to go for the 2 battery option because, there we go, there's another battery there. Beautiful. Got a couple of other accessories here as well. And then we have that one. Because at the time, the 3 battery option wasn't available. And only the 2 battery version was. So I thought, great, I'll go for the 2 battery version. But then unfortunately, as soon as I went for the 2 battery version, it went straight onto back order. So there wasn't really much I could do about that. So I just thought I'd leave it go. So here we have it. First of all, let's look at the quad before we get to any of that stuff over there. Look at this. Now, straight away I can tell you this weighs quite a substantial amount. It feels heavy. Everything about this feels quite premium. Let's start off at the front. So at the front we have our 90-degree viewable, our 90-degree adjustable camera. This particular camera, the lens is 1080p and it's 120 degrees wide-angle lens. I hope this gives us much better quality than the Z5. As we come up from this particular camera, you have this beautiful plastic styling to the front of the quad here. And then just over this hump, you have the standard SJRC insignia there. And then towards the back, you have your battery. Now, here's your battery right inside here. So, to take the battery out, you've got to open up these wings. So, let's do exactly that. Oh, there's no buttons to push to open them out. They do feel quite stiff. And when you do open them, there's a definite click between them actually locking in place. Let me show you. Between them actually locking in place and opening out fully. So if I just get these propellers out of the way. So when they lock in place, there's a definite click. And it's that click there, which is sprung loaded. There's a spring inside there, and that's not coming undone unless you actually give it quite a bit of force. Right, let's put the quad down. Let's open up this and have a look at the battery. So here is the absolute monster that powers this. This particular battery is an 11.1 volt, 2500 milliamp hour lithium battery. Charges takes 3.5 hours and the flight time you get from it is 25 minutes. So those times are approx for the flight. I would say you're more likely to get about 15 with constant video recording, but still not to be sniffed at. The micro USB port in the side here, that's how you charge it. That's why it takes 3.5 hours to charge. But also because it is quite a phenomenal size. Inside here, sorry about the shadows folks, you have your standard strip here which just connects your pins, which just connects your battery to your quad, which gives it power, and then you just have your battery bay in there. Make sure there's nothing inside here, there's nothing that's gonna stop the battery from going back in and clicking into place. As it is, quite a definite click. And your release buttons are here, one on the left and one on the right. Just push them down at the same time and pull up to release. So there's the quad fully opened up. Look at that. Beautiful. The arms kind of look a little bit like a Mavic Pro. I don't like to make a lot of assumptions, but still they do. They look quite a lot like a Mavic Pro. Right. Leading on from the battery bay, we then have the hump at the back with the SJRC insignia right there. On the underside, we have our little sensors here, which would have been for optical flow, but by the look of them, there's no lens in them whatsoever. Now this particular quadcopter does have GPS, so optical flow is not necessary as such for this. Let's come on to these motors. These motors are brushless. They are 1806 brushless motors. In fact, they are quite powerful. They are metal surrounded, so there's none of this plastic nonsense on the outside. On the underneath of these particular motors, you have your little LEDs there for orientation, and then you have these lovely landing sprigs. They're all pre-molded, you can't move them about, they're just stuck in there. There's nothing you can do about that, but it does look quite nice. The whole sort of arm down from the propellers, motor, LED and landing sprig actually does look really quite nice. And then towards the back, you have your same 1806 brushless motor. Your LED now is around the bottom here, and your landing sprig is this little bit at the bottom there. Just gives you that little bit of, well, it just matches up the distance between the front landing sprig and the back. You also have 2 landing sprigs here as well. 2 little rubberized little feet at the back there. So that is your quadcopter. It looks really, really, really nice. I do like this particular style. I love the style on the Z5, and it's exactly the same on the F11. Apart from this, it's slightly bigger and a lot more rugged. So a couple of other things about this. You have a 25-minute flight time, as we've said. Wi-Fi image transmission is 1080p at 5G only, unfortunately. So your phone has got to be compatible with 5G. You have 400 to 500 meters of FPV relay apparently. So that is not bad at all. I would probably half that, in all honesty, but still, even at 250 meters, it's not to be snubbed at. That is quite a nice little distance. All in all, I like this. And then when you fold it back up, just make sure the rear arms fold in first, and then the top arms fold in over the top. Sorry about the hands, folks, but that's essentially what you're going for. Rear first, and then top second. And then likewise, rear first, and then once again, sorry about the harsh shadows, there we are, until you have this really nice folded up quadcopter that fits inside the palm of your hand. But how much does it weigh? Well, I can tell you, this is going to weigh quite a bit. So let's get our there we are, our weighing scales there. Now this is going to be the flying weight, so we have the battery attached. The full weight of this is going to be 516 grams. So you're certainly over that 250 gram limit there for anybody that hasn't got a license and in any area which has that 250 gram restriction. This is well over. So yeah, over by half and a bit. So unfortunately this is quite heavy, but still I think we're going to get a great flight out of this. So let's just put that there for 1 second. Now let's come on to the transmitter. Standard SJRC transmitter. I really like these. As you know, I like my basic transmitters just simply because they work, and that's exactly what you have here. Nice matte finish, feels quite nice. The build quality is pretty much, well, for the whole unit, for the quadcopter and the transmitter, is actually really nice. It feels really thick, feels quite premium, and all in all, the action of the sticks as well actually feels nice. There's a nice sort of return action with it. It doesn't, even though it just clicks back there, when you do move it back, you feel that it's just got a really nice action to it. So let's go over some of the buttons. So you have your standard headless mode over here. Then you have your 1-key takeoff and 1-key landing. You have your return to home and your on and off button. If you open up the FPV boom, then you have your couple of other LEDs here for return to home, for speed mode, for taking photos, and for headless mode as well. You get a nice little LED set there. Now these buttons do have second and third features, like the automatic takeoff and landing button also doubles up as your emergency stop, and this button up here for your headless mode also doubles up as your GPS button, which is quite nice. It saves on having a load of buttons all over the place. And then you have your standard buttons on the top, on the left hand side for taking photos, on the right hand side for taking video. You've got your angle wheel here for your gimbal, for your camera lens, and then you've got your speed mode here. Now I love these speed rockers. They are fantastic. I much prefer those to having little buttons. So there we go. That is your transmitter. On the underside as well, you pull down these 2 little handles just so that your palms can fit on the transmitter, as nice as that. Now I have flown it without pulling these down, and it is a bit of a squeeze, but just bringing these down gives you a nice little action of movement as well, and make sure that they are nice and the transmitter is nice and sturdy in your hands. So there we go. Let's fold all that back down. Now let's check one thing. You know exactly what I'm going to go for, folks. Have we got real antennas or have we got fake antennas? They look to be fake, unfortunately. There does not look to be a cable running through there at all. It just looks to be, yeah, that does not, yeah, they're fake. Which, it does annoy me a bit of this particular model. What makes up for it is the quadcopter itself. So what I'm going to do is, as standard, I don't like flying with these down because it just looks weird and it makes me feel a bit strange, so I'm going to fly with these up. But there we go, that's the transmitter. Now, a couple of other things about this. The battery inside here is 3.7 volt, 300 milliamp hour. Charge time is 50 minutes. Use time is 10 hours. So you get a real nice amount of charge time, amount of use time from this. A couple of other things about this particular transmitter as well is, I did mention earlier, you have 400 to 500 Wi-Fi image transmission from your quadcopter. As for control distance, you have 600 meters. Follow me distance is 30, and follow me image follow me is 10 meters. But still, 600 meter control distance. That's really quite nice. I really like that. Right, there's your transmitter. So we get the second battery. This once again is a second 11.1 volt 2500 milliamp hour lithium battery. Charge time again on this 3.5 hours. Use time 25 minutes. Spare propeller blades. There we go. As well as you get your micro USB cable in there. And you also have your standard SJRC manual. There we are, just inside there. I recommend you go through the manual. It is small. Some of the writing is quite difficult to read, but it reads quite well and does give you a wealth of information. So this is everything that you have inside the package. So you have your quadcopter, your spare propellers, you have your manual, you have a micro USB cable, you have your transmitter and your battery as well, your second battery in this pack. You can get ones with just one battery and you can get them with 3 also, but I went for the 2 battery pack there. Right then, my friends, next stop is to see this guy in action. So let's take him up for a flight. Right then, let's get this set up. So before we go any further, let me grab my phone. Nice. So let's open up this particular quad. So front first, then back. Front first, then back. So I've charged up the batteries. They were 3/4 charged anyway, which I found quite strange, but also quite pleasing at the same time. So I've just made sure that they are all fully charged and that they are all totally. They're going to give us the time that they say they are. On putting the phone in the FPV boom, I noticed that it does feel quite flimsy, which is quite strange. The Z5 didn't, but this does feel, even though it does lock in place, the actual spring-loaded top here felt really flimsy. So I'm hoping that's not going to be a sign of things to come. So keep your finger down on the button, and then turn on the transmitter, open and close throttle to bind. Now we've got to do the compass calibration. So for this first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect to the Wi-Fi. It should be the only broadcasting network around here, as I am quite literally in the centre of a field. So I've come to the same place that I flew the Vizio XS F11 in, but today is slightly nicer weather. We have got a bit of mist, but it's not as bad as the other week. So the open Wi-Fi network is SJGPS Pro, just connected, and now we get to open up the app, which is the SJGPS Pro. And then it should auto detect, which it has done, F11 GPS. So, oh, me and my fingers. There we go. So that is now auto selected the F11. So if I click play, so now if I click controls, it should take us straight in. Now for the compass calibration, which is very, very odd. It says hold it from the back, and normally you twist the quadcopter, but this time it says for you to turn in a 360. And once you've done it once, the back LEDs go solid, which they have done. Then you hold the GPS quad upside down with the camera facing down, and then you turn your body again, and then all LEDs are locked. There we go, blue at the back, white at the front. We are now okay to go. It says here, please take the drone. There we are, ready to fly. Perfect. So it's just taking a couple of seconds there just for it to catch up. LEDs to the front, LEDs to the back are totally solid. So in order to gyro calibrate, let's take both of the analog sticks up and to the left, up and to the right, up and to the left. So you're at 11 and 1 o'clock. There we are, perfect. It's all calibrated. Lovely, nice. Right then, let's ensure that we've got, let's just go back. Let's just ensure we've got everything that we need. Let's look at, there we go, so let's look at the flight distances and everything first. I'm going to increase these a little bit. It's not in beginner mode, let's just save that. I remember that from my last flight of the the Z5. So with this now, we should be good to go. So let's start the motors, let's bring them both down into the middle, and then take her off. We have got a 1 key takeoff and 1 key landing option. We'll be using that a little bit later. For now though, let me get my screen recorded. I want to get some nice telemetry information there. We've got a bit of a wind coming in. Now the wind is coming in from my right directly over to my left. It's hitting at about 10 to 11 miles an hour. So you're going to be seeing that quad shaking a little bit. But so far, that's what it looks like. And it looks really quite nice. Holds itself really well. Yeah, that's quite nice. So I've put an SD card in there, just got a standard 32 gig class 10. So let's take her out and let's have a little look. Let's see what she's like. LEDs at the front, you can see very, very brightly. White LEDs, no problem there whatsoever. Right, Now we've got her up there at a little bit of a height, let's see if we can get some video. So for this I'm going to click the right analog, shoulder button. That then starts off this horrendous beeping. So I'm going to click it again to stop it. I'm going to give the app access to my photos and I'm going to manually click it instead. Now I do realise if you manually click the app you're just going to be recording in 720 and not in the raw output of 1080, but at the same time I do need to have that not beeping. So, because it is quite annoying. So here we are, we're up a little way. Let's take her up a little bit further. Let's stop her there, nice air brake action there. And with her up there, let's twist this gimbal, this lens, and see what we've got. So I'm just going to move this down a little bit so you can see it focus directly more on the path and more on the river. God, it really is windy up there. Signal level still looking very, very good. At a distance of 57 foot, or 57 foot, and a height of 19 meters, sorry. So that's not too bad at all. I always get quite confused as to whether these are imperial or metric. So let's take her out a little bit further. Let's increase her altitude a little bit, just so we can clear that tree. Beautiful action. Beautiful action. Here we come. She's got some really nice speed to her as well. She's not sluggish, she's not slow. She really has got a nice action. Now you can see there's the huge duck pond in front of us. I mean, I haven't changed speed yet. I'm trying to keep her down at a level so that I can keep an eye on her. Let's reduce her altitude a bit and bring her down. Let's look at some photo shots. Let's give her a few funnels. Beautiful. You can really hear the difference between the Z5 and this, because obviously this is brushless motors. You have got that really beautiful hum of the brushless motors. So let's hold her there. Let's take some photos at some height, because I want to see exactly how they go. There we go, taking a few there, that's not too bad. Right, let's bring it down a little bit. Let's alter that camera angle so that you can see me a little bit more. And let's hold my hand up and see where the gesture, oh actually for this, let's put it onto gesture mode. So, there we go. So take photo with your hand out. Now the Z5 worked really well with this. Hand out. I don't know if it's taking anything. I'm looking at the photo icon and I'm not really seeing anything. Let's try 2 fingers to start video. Maybe I'm a little bit too far away. Let's get a bit closer. Hand gesture. No, nothing. Video gesture. No, let's bring her down a little bit more. Let's straighten up that camera. Let's take her off gesture mode and let's put it back on. So as you can see, it is hand out to take photos, take video, and a peace sign to take photos. So photo, no, nothing, video, video, no, okay, that hasn't worked. Right, let's try the microphone. Well, there's no signs that come up there with that. Right, okay, so we just tried a bit of gesture. That didn't work by the look of it. I'm going to try it again. Make sure you're within 3 meters. So I am definitely within 3 meters. Let's hold a hand out. No, peace sign. No, no, it's not going to work. Okay, let's have a little look then at a little bit of follow me. So, as you know, with these particular quadcopters, I've never been lucky to get follow me working. So for this, I'm going to hit follow me and see whether... Now, I'm going to have my finger quite close to the pulse here because this is a lot quicker than my other ones. And if it does start to fail, then I'm going to just stop it from following me, or if it starts to bowl, or if it starts to do whatever. All it's doing for the second is just floating up and down. Let's take her up a little bit higher. Follow me is still active. What happens if I was to go over here? Now I'm out of the frame totally now, and it still hasn't got me. Let's go back. Oh, it's kind of rising, it's kind of moving a bit. No, it's bringing her down a bit. She's taking herself up. The wind is causing her to move quite a bit. Okay, anything? From here maybe? No, okay, let's stop it. Let's try again. So let's try follow me. Okay, from this angle, let's casually walk backwards. Now it should be following me, but no. Okay, let's try some active track. So keep your distance of the drone from human body within 3 to 10 meters. So this is exactly how far I am away. Let's draw a little box over myself, and now it should be able to track that, I'm hoping. Well, the box is tracking, but the quadcopter just is not. Even when I come back into frame, the box reappears, so it knows exactly where I am, even albeit incorrectly, but it knows where there is an image that is moving, but it's not tracking me, which is a little bit strange. Okay, right, okay, so far gesture hasn't worked, follow me hasn't worked, active track hasn't worked. So I think what we're going to do is we're just going to take this up for a little flight, because I just want to get it flying, because I love these quads, I do. I think they're absolutely brilliant, but clearly they're not feature quads. So that means that clearly, if you want them for follow me, or if you want them for hand gestured photo taking, then you're not going to get that. That's going to be something that you're just not going to get with it. And it's the same for all the other SJRC ones as well. You know, it doesn't, there isn't really a lot going for it when it comes to that. It is quite literally just a fly around quad, and to me that is fine, but I know a lot of people want to have those extra features, and I'm going to try them again. I'm not going to give up. I'm going to try them again and see exactly how far we go. But we're looking good signal wise, we're looking good FPV wise. We're just taking her around, seeing exactly how far we can get from her. Let's see exactly if I can track myself a bit with the camera. Let's alter that camera angle so you can see down a little bit. God, it's really windy up there. Really windy up there. But fair play, down to the brushless motors and the nice design of this particular quad, then you can see that it is actually flying without there being any issue whatsoever. And I'm reaching a distance of almost 100 meters, 100 foot, 100 meters it would be, wouldn't it? As I say, I'm always a little bit confused as to what, whether these are imperial or whether they're metric, but we still got full signal. We still got, let's alter that camera a little bit so you can see a bit more in front of you. We've got full signal, we've got good FPV. We are looking pretty good. We are looking pretty good. Now we're bringing it back to me. Let's check out these speed modes for a second. So let's bring her down. Oh, she's really flying really nice. I don't really want to bring her down, but I know I got to. Just got to try out those speed modes. So let's bring her down. Beautiful. And this camera looks really good. Now the Z5 left a lot to be desired, I thought. But this camera, if I just hold her there, so I'm up at a height of 13 meters. And yeah, do you know what? This camera looks great. It really does look good. I mean, it's got a great 120-degree angle of view, so you can quite literally see all the way around you. And if I go any further, you can watch me fall in the river as well. So it really has got a great angle of view, and it doesn't look fisheye. It doesn't look too round. It just looks right. Look at that, and it's just holding itself there beautifully. Really nice. And you can see the track that I've walked. Ah, really nice, really nice, really nice. So far the features have left me cold. There have been absolutely no features. I'll say no features, that's being very unfair. There have been, as far as active track goes and as far as gesture mode goes, they aren't working. They haven't worked for me yet. So, and I've come to a different place because I wanted to give it the benefit of the doubt. That beeping is just the camera angle moving. I wanted to give it the benefit of the doubt and actually see what we were going to do with it, and see whether or not it was actually the place I was flying in or whatever. So right, where are we now? Well, for the second, what I'm going to do, with this wind dies down a bit, I'm going to turn her around and we're going to do a couple of little speed tests with her. Now this is going to be a very unofficial speed test, of course. I don't have anything that actually records speed with me for this. Oh, it's just a really nice air presence as well. It looks really angry. And those LEDs, you can't see the blue ones very well, but the white ones are very piercing. Dual LEDs on the front. So what I'm going to do here now is I'm going to decrease speed. Right, so I'm down at the lowest speed. So if I push forward, you get a nice gentle movement, and that video shows you exactly how gentle it is. Really sweet, right? So let's bring her back around. Let's bring her back around. And let's stop her there. Let's give her one click, which would effectively be speed mode 2, right? Let's push her forward. You can see there's a bit more speed there. Oh yeah, it's a bit more speed indeed. She really is covering a bit of ground there. So let's stop her. Let's bring her back into my line, and then we're going to give it one more click up to the right on the left hand wheel. Speed mode 3, so let's just position her and off we go. Now these are full throttle tests, so I'm not holding her back. I'm giving it what it can do. And there she goes. Really nice. Beautiful. And that was speed mode 3. Now, do we have a fourth, I wonder? Do we have a fourth speed mode? So I'm going to bring her back to me a little bit. I'm going to bring her down. There we go. Click once more. Yeah, we have. That was the fourth and final beep. For this, let's push her forward. That actually looks to be a little bit more stable than speed mode 3. Doesn't seem to be as fast. Could just be me, mind. It is covering a bit of ground pretty quickly. And of course, if you do have it in this speed mode, well, actually no, she is covering a lot of air. Look at her go. Look at her go. Wow, okay, yeah, okay, fair enough, that is quick. What you will notice as well is obviously if you do have her in high speed mode, let's bring her over land before I bring her down, because obviously the differential there over the water, it's going to be quite catastrophic. It's going to be really cold. The quad's not going to know exactly where it is, and it could cause a bit of an issue. So those speed modes. So I'm going to bring it down to speed mode 2 there, because for the second we're chomping through battery. Now it did say that there is a 25-minute battery life in the Unbox, and I did call 20, and I did think that that was going to be all that we were going to have. Oh, this is such a delicate flyer in speed mode 2. Okay, I'm not full throttling it for the second, but look at those movements. Really nice and calm, really nice and relaxed. Okay, let's try a couple more features. Let's try landing. So how about if we do some automatic landing? So for this, we've got a button in the top right of the transmitter. If I just push this once, it should land without there being any issue. Obviously, if you push and hold, it is going to initiate emergency stop. That's not something that I want to do. Is it going to land? It's going to be a bit of grass cutting involved. There we go, but not too much. That's fine. Now she's landed, let's take her back to the pad. You'll notice as well, I'm doing this flight without extending the arms on the transmitter. Quite simply because I wanted to see how easy it was to fly without extending the arms. And do you know what? It's very easy. I did it with the Z5, wanted to make sure I could do it with the F11, and I can. So click, oh, hang on, start the motors. And then click again, and it automatically takes off. It should take to a level and then hover there. Yeah, there we go, perfect. Right, for this next thing, we're going to try waypoints. Waypoints have never been my forte. I've never really used them. I've always wanted to fly manually. So for this, we've got this little icon up here, and you can see exactly where I am here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add in some waypoints. So it should be, if I click, and then, oh no, delete single, and then take a delete single. Let's try that, send, tap flight. So then the quadcopter should go, let's give her a bit of height. Let's give her a bit of height, because otherwise she isn't going to be able to make this journey. So I've just raised her altitude there. So then she should then be able to fly the waypoints without there being any issue. There we go, there's a waypoint marker there. And I think I gave her one more, did I not? Or did I just give her two? Maybe because I interrupted the flight, perhaps. Let's move her a bit more around to me. Oh, battery, oh no, that's it, battery is red. Battery is low, so she's not going to respond to that properly, which is why she did the one and then came back to me. Okay, that's fair enough, just for me to know. I'm not going to take her on any more waypoints just while we've got that battery issue there. Yeah, you can see the LEDs are flashing, she's in LVC. Right, okay, let's bring her back to me then. Let's bring her back to me. I'll carry on more and do some more waypoints in the next video, I think. But for now, we're hitting LVC and I'm going to bring her back. Okay, there we go. Beautiful. Right, so what are my thoughts as I'm landing her? Well, my thoughts are, if you want a... This is feature packed. But the features I've tested as far as gesture and as far as follow me, two gimmicky features I say, but I know a lot of you do like those features, then don't get this quad if you do want to have follow me or gesture. Come on, you were positioned beautifully. There we go. So if you do want to have gesture and if you do want to have follow me, then I would say don't get this quad. Quite as simple as that, because you are going to be experiencing some real anger points when you're not going to be able to get her to do what you want her to do. So if you do want follow me or if you do want gesture, then leave her alone. If you want a solid brushless powerful flyer with what looks like at this particular time a good camera, then I would say then this is in your wheelhouse. Now, this particular quad is over the 250 gram mark. It is quite heavy. It does come with more batteries should you choose that particular option, but I do think it is worth it. I really do think it is worth it. Let me just turn this off. She has got a beautiful design. She's all the grass from where she's been cutting it. She's got a beautiful design. She really has got a nice angle of view with the camera. The camera moves pretty quick as well. After all of these runs, obviously the motors are nice and cool. The body is a little bit warm, but not too much, just a little bit. You know, you can't really, if I really squeeze it into my hand, I can feel that it's warm. This is a nice quad. But obviously, if those features mean a lot more to you, if the follow me and gesture features mean a lot more to you than they do to me, then, you know, I would leave it. But if you do want a very responsive brushless quad that folds, then I would say this is in your ballpark. If you want something that just flies really nice with a really nice brushless motor set that doesn't get too hot, that flies really nicely, that has FPV, that doesn't break up over distance, obviously bearing in mind this is 5G only, so you have got to have a 5G compatible smartphone, then I would almost certainly say this is the one for you. It's sitting at quite a nice price point now as well. There's a couple of pound off it, a couple of percentage off it. So if you are interested, look in the description and have a look and see whether this is actually going to be a camera, whether this is going to be a quad for you. I think it's great, and features such as gesture and follow me have never meant anything to me because I never use them. To me, it's just a gimmicky feature, so therefore I don't hold the quads against it when it doesn't work. But obviously I understand if that is a feature you use and that will annoy you. But at the same time, that's a nice quad. I like that. As for the transmitter is very standard. You don't get any more standard than this, to be honest with you. It does exactly what it says in the tin. You've got a battery status LEDs up here. You've got your feature LEDs here, so whether you return to home, headless mode, taking photos or whatever, it's all done from here. Your headless mode button, you've got your gimbal, your camera mover, and you've got your speed mover as well. The speed tests were actually pretty good. I was extremely happy at how fast this thing flies. This really is a nice little flyer. All right then, my friends, I think the next point now is to actually go and get some waypoints with this thing over in the field. So there we are, my friends. Thanks ever so much, dog, for watching and listening. I've been JD. You've been fantastic as always. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. Hello and welcome to all the new subscribers. I hope you're enjoying the channel. So until next time, my friends, happy flying.